So Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest has actually done a interesting thing with this chapter, as we've been mainly going back and forth between Team A and Team B, but for once since probably I'd say the beginning of the manga, like this entire sequel manga that's come out, this has been an entire chapter dedicated to just one team, and I think this actually worked out. And there have been stuff addressing with the issues that we've been having with not only 100 Year Quest, but also as well with Fairy Tail in general with this one, as it really helped a lot with the threat of the Diabolos in this one, and giving them a little bit of satisfaction of the fact that it's like, hey, we're not fully done with these characters and the rest of this gang, and we're potentially getting more of these characters and seeing like what exactly that we've seen with so far with like Madmall, with Kiria, with all of them, especially with with everything with like the Dragon Eaters and everything with Diablos. Like, there's been stuff on this chapter where I was really genuinely surprised with, considering that how worried we was with like chapter 16 when we saw exactly what happened with Madmall, and was like, oh god, are they literally going to like one shot are they now about just to take down like Madmall and like Kiria just like this, and like especially as well with the rest of like Diablos. But it was like, no, where we see Natsu using his Dragon King Blazing Fist, seemingly knocking him out. During this entire motion, like, we had our little moments like, oh no, Wendy's completely melted away her clothes, and like we see like Lucy coming flying down on Charlotte, where it's like, oh look, use Gemini, as we get her like a little celestial like spirit world outfit, which I'm like, sure, whatever, it's there to like look appealing and maybe sell toys or something on there like they do most of the time. It's like, oh, just try not to do anything too weird, as like Grey comes like charging down as well, where it's like, okay, the full backup is here right now. It's like Urza's having a fight down like on the floor, and it was like, look, I wouldn't be a Fairy Tail mage if I allowed this guy to get away with beating me. And it's like, and like immediately he's there like, okay, like, you know, the Ash Dragon's there like, alright, look, we need to worry about Madmall like being down for the count. But the guy actually gets up instead of just laying there just defeated, even though he's like, he just took Natsu's Fire Dragon King attack. Something I'd like to remind you that Alvarez, the Spriggans, wasn't able to really do at all. Like, who got one-shotted by it. This guy, out of nowhere, this fucking clown, is able to take it as he gets up, like, roaring, as, like, Kiria as well is having her own moment where it's like, she is being, like, which Urza surprisingly using an actual good idea, where she's, like, using her Flame Empress armor because Natsu's flame is melting the scenario, where she's like, I have to use this or else I'm gonna be in trouble here. So I have to use like Natsu, like my own like Flame Empress stuff on there, and it's like saying that it's quite resistant to fire, and it's like, well, let's just go and see about that, as like even Kira's like, oh, my clothes and everything around me is melting, and she's like going there to like attack Urza as the two are like clashing blows on there, and it's like, she immediately goes in and uses one of her old techniques, which is like Flame Empress Rising Fire Cut, and she like makes this hole above, like, she pretty much does like a sword shoryuken and just like blasts the girl up there. And I was like, oh no, are we done with her now as well? I was like, no, as like they immediately see Kiria and Urza come up, and it was just like, immediately Ash Dragon's there, like, he is able to like disintegrate Kiria and grab her into like his arms. Is like, hey, put me down, you piece of crap, like that, as like all three of them like stare out, and it's just like, and admitting like they're all like Diablos is admitting, huh, alright, they're actually kind of strong. When we're gonna be smart about this. This is the thing, characters use in their heads, and it's like immediately Natsu's like, this is what we want. You're not going near the Water Dragon God. We're dealing with him. And they're like, look, we don't even care about him anymore. The fact that we're like, he's a husk, we're just interested. We want the one who stole his powers. We want the White Witch. And it's like, and as long as they're dragons, we will prey on them. You ain't gonna stop us, kids. Like that. And it's like, immediately it's like, I think we just stopped you, like all of you and all that. And it's like, what, like Kiria losing her cool bit. It's like, you want to say that again, you little brat? And they actually admitted where it's like, all right, we weren't at our best. Not just with the three of us around here, and it's just, and Lucy's like, wait, there are more of you, and it's like, and Madmall is there like, we're a guild of Dragon Eaters. There are a lot more of us around than just us three, and they immediately go, we're gonna call it here today on that. If you continue to pursue the dragons, we're gonna meet again, and this time we're actually gonna show you like the true fearsomeness of Diablos. So for once in their fucking lives, it ends in a draw. Now, was they winning, and was Natsu actually able to go on? But one, a character was able to take one of his strongest techniques. B, the villains used their heads for once, and it was like, okay, we are clearly at a disadvantage right now with the surprise attack that they've got on us. We need to go and change us that we was not expecting outside assistance from them. Let's regroup. We can share our information with the rest of the guild members, and we'll be able to deal with them. We're going to meet them anyway if they keep following down this path. That is something I generally liked in this chapter. In fact, this has been one of the stronger ones that we've had. Again, the only real issue I've had with, like, this, I think, especially with, like, the manga as recently, is, like, I think the art has been really wonky, and I think as well, especially in a couple of pages here and there, it's like, it really did not look good on that. Again, like, this is stuff, like, I want to say this as well. For clarification, this guy, like, the guy that's doing the art on there is a million times better than what I could do, and what probably half the, like, even my viewers can do and all that. I don't know, maybe some of you guys are really good fucking artists, I don't know, but again, I like to clarify that as well. For something that is using a visual element to convey its story, I will say fully on there, it is decent at best, comparing it to what its original source material is, and I'm comparing this to the other spin-offs as well. I'm comparing this to the Wendy one, I'm comparing, like, to the Grey, the Road Knight, like, you know, like, every single one of those, like, spin-offs and other arts, and I know other people on there, and this is a heavy workload, and this is weekly compared to some of these that were monthly, which is a full understanding on that part on there. But I will say as well, even on a bi-weekly basis, the art I have seen has been struggling, and I know that this will be fully addressed when the official version comes out, like, you know, in the volumes. I'm just fully admitting that. It's like, I think as well that, if anything, that the art has been really struggling on this end, and whether or not, like, as we clearly saw as well with, like, what happened with the first couple of chapters of this manga, where it was like, they had already a volume's worth of material already prepared. Like, they were already, like, ahead of themselves when it came to this, and now we're starting to see when they're being pushed the time, and they're pushed the pages as well, which has clearly been a thing as well, where I think they've been requested a couple of pages, like, ahead of time, because, like, when we look at this, like, bi-weekly thing, that was the thing I was worried about. I was like, how much are we going to be getting? Because I think we've been getting, like, including the color page, I think we've been getting about 19 to 20 pages every time, so, again, that's a decent amount compared to, like, most normal manga, which is like, what, about 15, 16 like pages on the weekly basis on there. And again, we've been getting some really decent spreads here and there for the most part. But again, this was an interesting chapter for me, as we were able to have a little bit of the pushback, but not overall, like, this is the once where it's like, this made the villains generally kind of intimidating and not a joke. Like, where it's like, we're able to be a threat, and we know a little bit about them, and this is what happened when they got, like, with what happened with Fairy Tail at first, they got caught off guard. Let's see what happens when they turn the tide and they pull, like, a fast one on them, and they were able to throw it back, and then instead of being like, oh, we're just going to wrap it up here and have this quick little fight, now both each teams had information on each other, and they used it, and it's like, look, we're outnumbered here right now, like, especially when, like, you've got Grey, Natsu, Lucy, Wendy, like, Urza there, like, on there, like, it's like, this is a 5-3 match going on right now. We are outnumbered. Like that, I'm not counting, like, you know, Charlotte and Happy really into this, but technically it's a 3-7 if we really want to count this, like, whole scenario, and it's like, we are outnumbered here, like, near double. Let us regroup, let people know what is going down, and we will prepare for the next oncoming storm. So overall, that's why I kind of thoroughly, like, enjoy some of the stuff in chapter. Again, I think one of the issues was, I think the art just, I think if anything, it needs tweaking, it needs a little bit of work on here and there, like some of the poses and some of, like, the facial expressions I've noticed has been a little bit off. And again, I say that more as a Fairy Tail fan as well, and as someone that who I like to feel I am generally honest when, like, again, I enjoy the series a lot. I can accept when it has flaws, though, which, you know, the main manga has many flaws, and I think as well, being heavily spoiled by Hiromashima's art style throughout, like, you know, the 10 years that we've had it. So, again, it might be still adjustment periods as well. We're still talking about something that's been going on for, like, what, like, 7 to 9 months now, I think, at this point. So, let me know, guys, in the comment section down below what you generally think about, like, some of the stuff that's going on with, like, the Fairy Tail 100-year quest manga. But that is all from me. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you guys, though, next time.